We closed on a 10-unit apartment building with $300 in our pocket.
We did that with no credit history, no W-2, and no experience.
So Caleb, how can you qualify for a loan with no experience, no job history, and no money?
Yeah, the way to go about getting a loan when you got none of that is you got to go through seller financing.
Real quick summary, what is seller financing?
Yeah, seller financing is when the seller acts as your bank. Either you pay their property off or it already is paid off and they act as your lender.
Since it's private lending, there's no cookie cutter expectations or qualifications to actually get the loan. It's at their discretion.
Everything is made up. All terms are negotiated with them. No qualifications necessary.
How did you actually find somebody who was willing to seller finance?
The biggest thing with our first deal, our 10-unit McAllen, Texas, we found it was just sitting on the market. And the seller just wanted us to hit a purchase price, and that's what we did. The reason this deal is sitting on market so long is with conventional bank terms and interest rates and all that stuff, nobody else could get them the purchase price they were looking for.
So even though it's all made up, sellers aren't going to usually carry 100% or finance 100% of the purchase. We negotiated for 10% down. They wanted some collateral, some skin in the game. Where do we get that money, Caleb?
In order to raise our 10%, we decided to go through our network. And unfortunately, our parents don't have a ton of money, so we had to go raise that money ourselves, and that was through family, friends, Facebook even, and just anywhere we could find it.
So Caleb, they weren't scared giving their money to a kid with no money, no experience in real estate.
19 years old. Yeah, the reason that we ended up being able to raise that money is the deal was good enough. That's what comes first. You have to find a good enough opportunity that makes sense for others too.
So after all expenses and the debt service, how much are we cash flowing day one?
Day one in this deal, we're cash flowing about $3,000 a month. And the reason we're able to do that is we actually have no debt service for the first 6 months. That's one of the terms we negotiate with the seller.
Here are our 5 duplexes, adding up to 10 units. You can see right past the driveway, there's a quite large plot of land.
We've got about another 1.25 acres of land just sitting there. And just getting into the game, we have no plans to develop. It's just to buy multifamily. So what we're going to do there is we're going to sell that acre off. Potentially even seller finance that acre to another individual and have our debt service covered.
How much are we looking to get that land for?
Ideally, we were looking to get it about $250,000, and the way seller financing works, we have to get a deed release from the seller, so we need to pay him a chunk of that up front, and that's why it would be great to seller finance that acre off if we could use that down payment we get from the acre to pay off the seller, deed release, and then they cover our mortgage with the seller as well.
We put $90,000 down, and we're going to get $250,000 for a piece of land.
Infinite return.
If we can do this with no money, no job, no experience, it just shows that this strategy is repeatable for absolutely everybody.
Very hard to be in a worse situation than we were buying our first deal.
Closed on our second deal last week. Very similar structure. When you keep it simple, it's very easy to repeat this strategy.
This just goes to show even more that when you're getting started, you don't need money. It's just getting creative and getting it done. There's no reason anybody can't go implement this right now.